Hey folks, this is Doug with Imagination Mechanical and Fabrication coming back to you on this here Wednesday 12/3/2025. Kind of want to just give you another update on the shop. I have been doing some stuff here, but you know, I do it as I can do it, and as I got funds, as I got time, and as I can get out here and actually do the stuff. I'm going to get you off my mug, and then I'll show you what I've been doing. Okay, here's the platform I was talking about building here. I built it, and I still got this part finished, but I just got this up here 10 minutes ago. You know, I done it by myself. What I did, I took the lift and I put a choker on here, this choker, and I got it to where I could pick up on it and get it low on the bottom, and then I just kind of pulled back on it and started laying it down, and I laid it down and just kept letting the lift down a little bit at a time. And then I took an eye bolt and put through that foot there, and then used this little strap here and got in, because the tank itself is not that heavy. And so I picked it up and I set the tank in, the bottom end onto here, and of course it was facing that way. I had to turn it around the way it is right now. I mean, and it that was the hardest part. And the thing is when I was turning it, one of these feet would want to swing out over here, because it was up over here. It was up here, right up against this, and so I had to swing it all the way around and get it over to here. So I took this little cart that you can pump up and down, a little hydraulic cart, scissor cart, and I rolled it over there and got level with that right there, and then I chocked the wheels on it, and I swung it around and got one foot on there, and I just kept doing that until I got it swung all the way around the way it is now. But it's looking like I got my measurement off down here, because I'm hitting that shelf there, and I estimated it to where I'd be about an inch below it, but I got off there somehow or another. I have one of them Chinese measuring tapes. But I'm going to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shelf up here, I'm going to take it down. And over there, I got all that room between the track for the roll-up door, or for the garage door. I got all that space up there. I'm gonna build shelves up there, and I can use these pieces, and I'm gonna just put the stuff like this that is not the stuff that, you know, it's kind of stuff I'll pull off and work on it when I've got some downtime or something, you know, and just need a little something to do to piddle, check them out, make sure they work. If they don't, you know, strip them and toss them in the trash. And then I can get this more centered up. And I found, you know, I mentioned I had these rubber isolation bushings, pads. Well, I only had this one big one here, and I went, and sure enough, I was down in the basement the other day, and I saw them two laying there, and I said, all right, I ain't got to order none. But just want to show, I got this furnace up here going. It's heating up. I mean, it does good. But while I was investigating it, you know, and you can see I had to run this gas line. I got that meter out, run the gas line, and I had to cut and thread some of this pipe, because I reused everything that they had, but some of it, like this piece here, would have put it way up there. And this is, you know, it's got this 45 here. That's the angle it was at, so I just left it at that angle. I didn't want to start forcing on that, because you got this pilot valve here and this solenoid, and I didn't want to break them loose or anything like that. So, but what I found is they had all of the load, the fan, the solenoid, everything running through this little thermostat wire, going over here to this thermostat. I'll show you this thermostat. Now, this thermostat is a commercial grade pin thermostat. This is like what they would use in a walk-in cooler or something. And so it's got heavy duty contacts in it, you know, that's rated like 15 or 20 amps. and it's, you know, rated for like 230 volts or something, but that's in a conduit, or, you know, a piece of flex coming into it and a conduit going back to a panel or something like that, and using 14 gauge wire or something, because it's got like 15 or 20 amp contacts. So, you know, number 12, if you know, if it's 20 amp, you'd put number 12 wire to it. Okay, so what I did was, I said, you know, I just took the solenoid, I'm running the solenoid off of that, the gas valve, I'm running that off of it, so that, you know, that's a real small load. But what I'm going to do, for one, that thermostat does not need to be mounted on an exterior wall, because it's going to be getting cold infiltrating through that wall. You don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it over to here. I'm going to put it on this post. That's a good spot for it. It's not in the direct line of it. It'll pull air across it, you know, pulling it back to the unit, and it won't be short cycling, because if it's over there and it's really cold, it'll be short cycling. It'll be on and off, on and off, on and off, and I don't want that. So I'm going to transfer it from there over to here, and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to put it in a conduit. I'm going to run, you know, 14 gauge or 60, you know, whatever that's rated for. If it's 15 amp, I'm going to take and run number 14 from here, and I'm going to put a switch also. This is just temporary. That's the way they had it originally. They had it plugged in there with Romex. The wire feeding that receptacle's right up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there, I'm going to cut the power to it, I'm going to cut that wire, and I'm going to put a box there, and I'm going to come out of it with this SJO cord and come down and hit a box, you know, receptacle box, but I'm going to have a light switch in there, and I'm going to just have it so you can get up there and just switch it off if you need to. And it really fired up real easy. I mean, you just, this is the pilot valve right here. You just push this in and it lets gas come through this little line right here, which is the pilot. It comes over there and you light it, and then it's got a thermal, this right here, which is a thermal pile, or a thermal pile or whatever, that if it, you know, if it's heated up, it makes the wire expand and you know, go in like that and push that valve open and keep it open, the pilot valve. You can see the other thing that we did, and the guy that me and him's thinking about partnering up, but he's a building contractor, and he come over here and cut this opening in, and I just got to get a door to go here, but this is great. You know, I can go right in and out, and this here, that is feeding the sub panel in here. This inside here that feeds all this stuff in here. This over here feeding this. Well, that's got to go. I mean, and you know, that's just janky, man. I mean, the stuff these people did, I just don't get it. I mean, you can see where it's exposed here, and then over here it's exposed. I mean, that's dangerous, you know, in here, even though that's like UF cable, which is a direct burial type cable. So it's tough, but I mean, you know, run something into it that's pretty sharp. I mean, you cut through that and, you know, you got sparks to flying. And I'm going to clean up all this. All this is coming out of there like that. I mean, it's just, you know, that's unacceptable, man. And so that's my intention. I'm going to get 1.5 inch conduit, and I'm going to get individual conductors. I figure about 35 feet of, I think number 4 is what I think this is right here. And I'm going to put an LB right there, go up, across, over, down, and right in through this hole right here, right in through this concentric knockout, and clean that up. And the same thing with this here for the compressor. Now what I'm going to do on that is I'm just going to stub a conduit up, or, you know, up and get it up to where it's up there where it's just not, you can't get into it. And I'm going to drop that down through there like a 1 inch or something. And you can do that. You can run jacketed wire like Romex, or that's like UF or something. You can run that in a conduit, but it has to be in a dry location. You can't do it in a wet location. So, and I'll do the same thing over here. I'll rather than running a conduit all the way over here, I ain't gonna do that. But I have a conduit up to just like right here or something, and in that way it's up, people can't get into it. And then and then this here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get a piece of flex, and I'm gonna flex out of here around and have flex there, the metal plastic jacketed flex, like 1 inch or something. And get it cleaned up, get it legal, and safe. And the same thing with all of these Romexes here that are going into these panels. I'm going to do the same thing. Now on this here that's feeding this panel, I wished, and I may have enough slack up there that I could drop this panel down and have it even with this panel, or which is even with the top. That's fine. But I'm going to come out of the bottom here, and there's a knockout. There's a bunch of knockouts there. I'm going to come out of it and up into here with an LB, and the LB, and then just come out with that wire there and go back in. And because I think that this here doesn't have a main on it. It's just feeding into a bus. But the breaker for it's over here. So, at least I think so. Well, actually, it's not. It's just hot from here to there. This 100 amp here, that's going over and feeding that sub panel. So they don't even have a main breaker on this. It's just going from hot lugs to hot lugs. And that's, unless this is, and that's 200 amp, I don't think so. I think this is the main for this panel here, which I'll have to open it up and look at it, but that's kind of what I got to do. And I brought this out here. It's another cabinet. Got to finish it, and I'm going to do this. I was just going to come over here to where that rack was at, but since I've got this door cut in here, and I moved all that stuff over there, that was a lot of work, but I'm going to extend this all the way over to right here. And this is going to be sitting up here. This is going to be sitting up here. I'll remove this and put it somewhere else. And I want to get this out. I'll sell that. I just want it out of there. Put a, and I've got the piece of T111 that was over here. I'll stick it. There's a piece of it. And I'll take that. That I think was down here or something. I don't know, but yeah, this is just plywood here. But there's a piece of T111 that was in here, and so I'm going to take that and put a plug up there, patch that up, because you can't really use it here. Water would be dripping down, and all that stuff, and I don't want that, and I don't need it anyway. It don't ever get that hot in there. We got two window units in there that are like 30,000 BTUs each, and they'll cool it, and it don't need to be that cool anyway. I just run them mainly to keep the moisture and the humidity down in there so stuff don't mold and mildew. But as you can see, it's accumulated junk in here again, but that's okay because it's getting more and more organized. And you can see over here where I took a table and set it up and put all that wood that was over there, some of it on here, put another shelf up here and put it on there. And this is the racks that were over there that was holding all this stuff up, and all that steel is down there. down there up under the table. And you know, I looked into one of those Connex, renting one of those Connex boxes. Well, they want $125 a month, and no, I'm not doing that. I'll just build something. I mean, I can build something a whole lot cheaper, to you know, like a 10 by 20 or something like that, or 8 by 20. You know, an 8 by 20 would be the same as one of them 8 by 20 Connex boxes. I mean, so build it 8 wide, 20 long, and 8 feet high. That way everything stays standard as far as the. And then this guy that I'm looking at partnering up with, you know, he's a contractor, a master carpenter, and so, you know, he could help me build it, and me and him could get out there and do it. But then we had issues out here along the outside, the gutter going across there on that end down there. It rotted out, and the whole gutter is hanging down. The only thing that's holding it up down there is the downspout. And so this is kind of, you know, where I'm at on it. I've got to use this some, because what I did, you can see them ends off of lawnmower blades. Well, there's a big hole right here on this compressor. There's a big hole right there, about 4 inches in diameter. And so I took and cut them off, and I made me some, because that's really hard steel, and I made me some washers to go across there, one on the bottom, one on the top. So I'm getting to use my bandsaw a little bit, and you can see I've gotten it whittled down to where it's over to here. I got rid of that futon, and I got rid of a bed frame that was in here. And if I could just get rid of the rest of these bed frames and that stuff over there, that stuff people dropped off here, I got to find somewhere inside to put it. I just ain't fooled with it. And then I can take that table back down, and then I got a pressure washer and a generator there that I got to get to and work on and get them up and running. And then I'll get rid of them. I'll sell them or trade them or something for something I want or need, like that, like a lathe. But there's where I'm at. And then to me, that's quite a bit of stuff I've gotten done. I mean, I'd like to get a lot more done, but you know, I worked like today. I didn't get up here until like 12:30, 1 o'clock, because the grocery truck showed up. You know, it was their day to show up, and I had to stock all that stuff and price it and go through it and make sure it was all there and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, it's just part of it. And then since I've been here, I've had some people in, and I don't even know when people are in there. I can't hear that bell in there on the door. So I found these when I was over there moving that shelf with that wood on it. There's this box that was there, and it had this thing mounted in it like that. And I thought it was some kind of an old paper towel dispenser or something. I didn't really never pay it much of attention. Well, I got over there taking it down, and lo and behold, these bells was in there. They had their phones tied to this, so that when their phone would ring, these would ring. Now, the thing about phones is the old tip and ring. They're like 80 or 90 volts. It's kind of an odd voltage, but you know, you could probably run it on 110. I don't know, but it says ITT 130 on there. Now I don't know if that's 130 volts. I don't know what they were running it, and it was probably DC. I don't know if this capacitor here is a DC capacitor, and that is to prevent kickback. The kickback from this coil on this ringer, it's back EMF, and this absorbs that to keep that from happening, because it would come back through your phone lines and stuff, and you know, make a lot of noise on there and everything. So they put that on there to suppress it. Well, I'm going to test it. I think I got a power supply over here that'll go up. This one here is a regulated DC power supply. It'll go up to 50 volts. So I can start out at 50, you know, down and just ramp it up. And if at 50 volts, it'll crank it up and it'll ring it. Then what I'll do is I got some transformers over here. I think I got some 48 volt transformers. I'll get a 48 volt transformer and get me a bridge rectifier, or just make me a half wave or something. I mean, it ain't got to be like bridge rectified. It could be a half wave rectifier or something like that. And just to ring that bell, there's a set of alarm contacts over there on that door, and I can find where the cable's going. It's probably coming in here somewhere anyway, because there was an alarm panel back over here in this corner. I showed that to y'all at one time. I took it down because I don't need that stuff. I mean, there's some valuable stuff here, but I don't think nobody's going to be breaking into this garage. I mean, now in there in the other part they might, you know, but there's bars on the doors and all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty beefy. But enough of that. But this is, you know, I've gotten that much done. And the thing is that a lot of the work is moving this stuff. I mean, you're moving it back and forth and cleaning and all that, where I was using this saw, you know. I mean, saw, I had to clean all that up. And this thing, I got to find, maybe that guy can, you know somebody that can use that. That's, you know, it's rust proofing for, you know, metal roofs. You know, I don't know, but you know, for like galvanized roofs or something, I guess. But you know, I don't need all that. I mean, I wouldn't never use all that in 50 years. But there you have it. And I was going to use that refrigerator made steel, but I don't want it out here. I got to find somewhere in there to put it so that I can, and that cabinet, I don't really think I need that cabinet, but I thought about using that for sort of like a fire safety cabinet, because it's metal. Put some shelves in it, and some metal shelves, and then put all them chemicals and stuff like that that's over there, you know, the oils and lube, you know, cutting oils and stuff like that. Put all that stuff in there, and thinners and stuff, and, you know, at least it would help keep it under control. And then I could probably set it over here somewhere. But and see, now over here too, once I get this done, I can, like I say, I can put my regulator. I may come over and then have the regulator and stuff right here where it's easily accessible, and I'll put this somewhere else. And let me see, it sounds like somebody's in here. Let me look. I have to check in here every so often, because people come in, and I walked in here and there's people in there milling around, and I never heard them. So that's why I got to get that bell, and I'll just put it up here somewhere, because there's a receptacle right down there, and there's one over there. I might just put it over there. And see, like that cable right there, that's going out, but I think that was going to like where their phone, it might have been going back over there. I don't know, because I think they was doing all the tying everything together back over in that corner over there where that panel was at. But anyway, I'm going to do something with it, put it up there, and then when they open that door, I'll hear them bells ring in here, and that'll, you know, and then I can just go boom right through there. And now I don't have to open these garage doors to get in and out. I can just go right through there. And this, like I say, this furnace, the thing about it is because I got the right now the heat ain't on, but the fan's running, because I took it off of that little wire. I mean, that fan motor's, you know, 6 inches in diameter, 8 inches, and I just don't like the idea of running that motor, that fan motor, through that little itty bitty wire. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's like a phone wire. I mean, I know. And so, you know, I'm gonna I got a box over there. I'll take and put a contactor in it, and I'll, you know, let the thermostat turn the contactor on, and it'll turn on the pilot valve, or the flow valve and the fan. It'll run both, and because I mean it's all 110, but that's just the more reason why 110 is going to draw more current than if it was 230 or something, you know. I mean, and I think that fan can be run on either or either it may even be multi-speed, because there's an extra wire there coming off of that fan motor, and it may be another speed, I don't know. But if you look at that box, I mean, you see how all that stuff is hanging out there and everything? And then this here wire is going through, it's just a safety in there, clicks on. It's going through there and then coming back out. So it comes from the thermostat. What I did, I come from the thermostat, I go into that, through it, and then, and it's coming off the neutral. I'm using the neutral. Coming off that, going to the thermostat, and then it comes off of that and goes to that pilot valve. The fan is directly wired, straight wired. And you see how big that motor is? I mean, and they're running it through that little itty bitty wire? No. That's a real safety hazard. And at night, whenever right now, I just unplug the fan and I've got the thermostat turned down, and it ain't going to do nothing if it's unplugged, because the pilot valve ain't going to open, but the pilot itself stays lit. That way I don't have to get up there and keep relighting it or something, but because the pilot, once it's lit, it stays lit unless you turn that little valve off. Okay, well, that's that. Just wanted to kind of update folks about what I've been doing up here, and you can look over there on that thing, boy. It's this shelf over here. I've had that thing cleaned down to where it was, lower than that, and it's right back to where it was at. I mean, but sooner or later I'll get it all to where it's nice and organized and clean in here. And I keep finding stuff. I mean, like this here, this little kit to do automotive wiring and stuff. I mean, so I forgot about it. It was in there in a drawer. And I brought that white tote right there was full of tools. It was in 2 drawers in there in my office, and I brought them out here. And I mean, if you look, man, look at the pliers and cutters and scissors and hammers and enough screwdrivers there to and nut drivers, Allen wrenches, and wrenches. And I got a good deal on something. I just got come into this a DeWalt Impact. It's a 1/2 inch drive, but it's got a 3/4 inch adapter on it. And I got some sockets with it, and it had a battery. So I got the battery on the charger over there, because it ran, but whenever I tried to use the battery on my saw, it didn't have enough juice, so I put it on the charger and put another one on there. But it works, and I got a good deal on it. And so there you have it. I'm gonna end it there. Thank all you folks for watching the videos. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. Let me know what you think about these videos. If you want me to keep doing them, or I've been doing some work in here. I hadn't been able to do a lot. Working on some stuff, like I say, using that bandsaw a little bit and the drill press, and kind of getting back into it. Next, this is my next thing, is I gotta start using my welder again and get back up to snuff on welding. But I need me a good welding table. I can use that thing right there because it's metal. It'd be good, but I need me like a 3 or a 4x6 or something like that welding table that 3/8 inch plate steel or something. That'd be nice. But man, they are proud of that stuff. I'm talking about they want a lot of money for that stuff. And so I'm just going to hold off and just keep looking, and sooner or later I'll run up on a piece of it and get it for a decent price. But You know, I'm talking about $500 or something for just a 3x6 foot piece of steel, maybe more, even more than that, $750, $800. But anyway, that's it, folks. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next one.